Episode 2, Season 2, Cointelbro. And I'm so excited to bring you this one. So excited. This man is my namesake. You know him as my favorite presidential candidate so far for the 2020 election. You may know him as Joel Savage. Hi. Yep. Don't lose your spot.
Hello, yes, hello. Brock, how are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm doing quite well, actually. So excited to have you on. You're a big fan of the show. You were in Season 1.
Yes, I was. I enjoyed myself, yes.
Couple times. We were actually the second podcast you were ever on.
Second podcast, yes. Ever.
Huge achievement for us. But honestly, before we get to
I'm sorry to hear that was a huge achievement for you.
We're a small production, you know. We're working our way up the ladder.
Yeah, yes, of course.
You have to start at the bottom. You brought us to the second rung. So it's I have to be honest with you. I have to be forthcoming. We received a very concerning clip from your campaign manager. Like, everyone knows you're running for president.
Yes.
You've been campaigning for months now. You dropped out briefly. You are back in the race. We received some concerning footage from your campaign manager. So
you need me to okay, let me get on. Can I get into campaign mode real quick?
Sure, do what you need to do. Okay. Business blues, I see.
Let me just all right, hello there.
Hey.
All right, how are you, Mr. Lesnar? Good to see you. Hope I have your vote.
You're the first presidential candidate that I've had on the show, so that by itself is another huge achievement that you've brought to my small production. Thank you so much.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for having me on this show, and again, thank you, Brock. What is this footage you wanted me to see?
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and play the clip. I'm going to have my goon that I have over here that goes ahead and he installs the clips. You should see it over there on your end. After the clip is done, we want to know your reaction. We have a growing audience, and we're going to want to see your reaction.
Hey, yeah, so I figured I would just talk to you because things aren't going well right now with the campaign. These attack ads are really hurting Joel's feelings. He's not vibing well with it. It's just like, you know, he's a really cool guy. He's a really, really nice dude. He meets the age requirement, and then somebody comes along out of nowhere and starts saying mean things that really hurt his feelings. He's doing a lot of weird stuff now. Like, he called his mom a big dumb jerk face. Like, that's really awful for Joel. He would never say something like that normally. And it's just like turning him into a different person, these attack ads. I don't think these attack ads are just mean. They're malicious. They're like a real insult to his character. And it's eating him away at the core. Like, these are not good energies going out there. And just like, I needed to talk to somebody about this. So like, please don't tell anybody.
When I saw that, I was incredibly concerned. Maybe I should have addressed this privately, but I knew you'd be coming on, and why address it privately when we could bring everybody into this and working in your campaign?
Everything he says is perfectly accurate. I had one attack ad come out after me. I'm a cis straight white male from the Midwest. I am not used to people criticizing me at all. So when somebody does criticize me and bring up facts about me, that makes me very nervous, and I don't like that. I don't like that one bit, no.
But you're at least willing to learn from your mistakes, right?
Actually, I as a cis white male, heterosexual from the Midwest, I refuse to learn anything. I hate knowledge. It scares me. It doesn't go with the Bible. And I swear on God's flat earth, I'm going to find out who put this up.
What bothered you the most about the attack ad?
The spooky music. I don't like spooky things. It creeps me out.
But there's a skeleton behind you and the jack-o'-lantern.
Ah! Oh, that's Mother. We had her taxidermied and she sits beside me, so she's always with me. Right, Mother?
Well, that's definitely not creepy. I guess when you put it that way.
No, it's not.
All of us have a taxidermied relative or two. But I'm glad that you were able to share those thoughts, clear the air on campaign mode. You can switch out of campaign mode now, unless there's something. You're good?
Sweet. Hold on. Yeah.
Okay. This is coming back. We'll wait here patiently.
All right, so this is just me now, right?
Yeah,
all we just put aside. I got my
no gimmicks, no frills, no kayfabe.
Drinking out of my Donald Duck glass. We're ready to go.
So excited to have you on. We get to interrogate Joel Savage, one of the largest producers of comedy in the city of Columbus. Do you accept that title?
I do not. We barely do anything. That's what I think. Well, I barely do anything. Lindsay does a lot. I barely do anything.
All right. Well, Savage Tech as a unit.
Yeah.
Regardless of what percentage of responsibility you want to take for it, you got to produce a lot.
Take as less as possible.
So you guys have a real guerrilla outfit. You guys really grind and you go out there, you find theaters that'll allow you to produce stuff. Like, I really admire that hustle and grit that you guys have. Where does that come from?
The finding venues and stuff. We have no place to do our shows. So
that desire. So for example, you how do I word this? So you're a producer of this comedy. You're a producer of this content. You're a content producer. You're creative.
Yes,
it's easy. It would be for a lot of people. It's easier to show up someplace and be told, "Hey, here's a play. Hey, I'll play a role." Have everything done for them. But you guys aren't going in that direction. You built your own company, production company.
Yeah.
Where does that stem from? Like that desire. Where does that come from? To just this guerrilla energy that you have?
I think it comes from a lot of places. I can't speak for Lindsay or David, but for me, it comes from a place of I come from a small hick town south of Columbus called Washington Courthouse, where there was nothing to do ever. And then when I did move to the big city of Columbus, I worked at this theater that was super repressive, and it was learn how to do it our way. Very much like, watch us, copy us. We are the best. You cannot experiment. You can't do anything. And that always pissed me off. So when we left and we did everything, and we went out, I worked for other theaters. I did other things, and just being told what to do, didn't really work for me. So so I was like, I don't want to do anybody else's stuff anymore. I kind of just want to do my own shit. And that's kind of where it came from, where the nugget of the idea came from, was just me wanting to do something that was mine, nobody else's.
And it helps you feel more control of your creative energy.
Yes. I've said this before to Lindsay, and it's super pretentious. But I've told her, I'm not gonna ever have kids. No offense to people that have them. But I'm never gonna have kids. So these shows are kind of like a piece of me that live on in mortality, because that's kind of I don't know what it's like to be a dad, but I just figured that's kind of what it is like there's a piece of you that you can grow and nurture and hopefully make a better version of yourself. That's kind of what my shows are to me. And
that's accurate.
Yeah. So like, I'm sorry.
A legacy.
Yes, I want a legacy. Even though I do fart and dick jokes. So, I mean, like, I guess that's the legacy I leave.
Hey,
but still, it's a legacy nonetheless.
Someone has to do
it. Exactly.
And we are blessed that it gets to be you, the city of Columbus, Ohio.
If not us, then who? Who will tell the dick and fart jokes? Brock Lesnar will.
Brock Lesnar will tell all the dick jokes. I don't have any right now, but if I think of any, I will drop them.
Awesome. Always down to hear.
All right, so speaking of dicks, who is your number one celebrity crush? And why is it Elvira?
Oh, so you already know my celebrity crush. It's Elvira, 100%. In order. Number one with a bullet, Elvira. Number two, Elvira. Number three, Cassandra Peterson, who plays Elvira. Number four, the redheaded biker lady in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, because that's Elvira. Like that's like, yeah. Yeah.
Tell me about this crush. Why Elvira? Why her?
Look at that. To Joel from Elvira. Okay.
I mean,
there are a lot of things. I say Elvira. Everybody goes, "Oh yeah, because of boobs." I'm like, well, yes, part of that, but also, when I was a kid and we went into a Kroger once, and there was a cardboard cutout of Elvira, and I remember seeing that and going, "She is the love of my life." And then there's a movie. We went to a video store, and she had a movie, and I rented that movie like a million times. It is one of the funniest, campiest, pretty much my first introduction to like campy horror stuff. And she was at the charge. Her character is super like stinkerish. Like I love a character that's like a stinker, like a Bugs Bunny. And she's very much that. She's always thinking on her feet. She knows what she has, her assets. She uses them to get what she wants, but she's also, she's like a super strong, awesome, like, woman. And she's spooky and she's wonderful. She was in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, which, influenced me immensely. She was on the cover of Tom Waits' Small Change album. That is an artist that has influenced me throughout my years. Like she keeps popping up in places that I'm like, oh my God, this is something that I'm really into. And yeah, so yeah.
At some point you recognize the signs and you're like, wow, this person's like a muse to me.
Yes, exactly.
Inspiration.
Exactly. And not in a creepy way. Oh, and I met her when I got that sign about 3 or 4 years ago, and she was the nicest, sweetest person. And like, yeah, she was so nice. I was trying so hard not to geek out or be an idiot. I was just telling her like how awesome she is, and she's like, well, thank you very much. And like we talked a little bit about Jack White, because I love Jack White, and yeah, she's awesome. She's awesome. She's great. Joel, I don't know what else to say.
Were you able to, I guess, convey to her how important?
Did I just call you Joel? I'm Joel. You're Brock. Why did I do that? I'm sorry. Go ahead. What?
I'm not Barack. I'm not Joel.
What was the question? Brock?
Were you able to convey to her the importance that she had in, I guess, your life? It's always hard in those situations, because I feel the moment you get into it, you come off like a creep.
Yeah, that is something that I've been known to do in the past. Luckily, by the time I met her, I realized she was a person, and there was a bunch of creeps there, and a bunch of people that were way like more diverse than me and cooler than me, that had an actual story. about how she influenced them. So like I just told her like how awesome I thought she was and loved the character, and she was just so nice and like thoughtful and just sweet. And yeah, I Lindsay said I was able to keep my composure, but I don't see how I possibly could. It was on par with meeting Roddy Piper. When I met Roddy Piper, it was the same. I hope I didn't make a total ass of myself.
That's a nice segue into my next question, because I know, speaking of influences on what you do, you're a huge wrestling fan. How does wrestling influence what you do?
That's me shaking the ropes.
This is me. She's not to call.
This is a really loose rope, guys. We should tighten this. There you go. Yeah! 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 Oh, man. I want to see that live at some point. If you ever do a live show, please have me on, because I want to see that live. What was the question?
We'll do it live!
What was the question again?
You're a huge wrestling fan. How does wrestling influence the work that you do?
Oh my God, it is everything that we do. We do long-term storytelling with our shows. Big characters. We do cheap pops. We have clear villains, clear good guys that turn into villains, and we see the process. Like every bit of storytelling that we do is influenced from wrestling.
Are there tweeners?
What's that?
Are there any tweeners? You know, like Stone Cold Steve Austin, he was a baby face, but he was kind of like, he had heelish tendencies. He wasn't like a traditional baby face.
I think I think Dr. Show is kind of like that, because he's very up his own butt about stuff, but does magic and reanimates corpses from the dead, but also like isn't a total bad guy. I think Trixie is just pure chaos, like a Brian Pillman kind of energy, loose cannon, just will do whatever. And then I think Creature is kind of a like a Mick Foley, like not Mankind, Cactus Jack, or Dude Love, but a Mick Foley, like very loving, supportive, like just adorable human being. So I think that's kind of our thing.
Just compared yourself to these wrestlers as far as the characters you use in
oh yeah,
the show.
Yeah. Oh god.
What wrestlers would you compare to yourself as
a person?
Yes.
Jesus.
All three of you.
Oh, all
think it changes? Yeah, I'm curious.
To Joel Savage, Lindsay Bowes, and David Gelati.
Yes.
I would love to be Roddy Piper, just because I would love to have the whole I don't give a shit what you say, I'm just doing my job. But I think if I'm honest with myself, I lean more towards the Hulk Hogan, everybody love me please. Like, what, do you love me? Do you love me? Like, kind of thing. I think I have kind of a Shawn Michaels kind of feel of wanting of arrogance when I'm in my element. I don't know. I can't do one wrestler. Maybe Colt Cabana, because he's kind of self-aware, and I sort of think I'm very self-aware. Lindsay Bowes, I don't know. She would be Asuka, because she is badass. She's able to perform and sell stuff that like I haven't seen anybody else be able to sell, and she's able to counter any bad idea I have and switch it and then pin it. And then Gila's Marty Jannetty.
Marty Jannetty.
The other rocker. No, he's not. He would be
the one who admitted to killing someone.
Yes. No, keep refreshing your feed on Facebook. Gila will admit to killing somebody as well. No,
Oh, you heard it here first on Cointelbro, the Interrogation Series.
I would say, you know what? He is Mick Foley again. Mick Foley temperament with Dolph Ziggler looks. That's what I would say. Yeah.
All right. Give me one moment so
Yeah.
we can stop.
That is a cool graphic. The Interrogation Series. Oh, that's cool. Nice. Nice.
Like it?
That's Pentagon Jr., right?
It is. That's good. The sound is gone, and I wanted you to see this.
That is amazing. Where'd you get it?
I ordered it on eBay. I'm pretty sure it was handmade in Mexico.
Oh, that is super cool. I'm gonna have to do the exact same thing. I like black and white look though.
I own two of them, so I bought the black and white one. Is the first one I bought like 3 or 4 years ago, and then a few years later, I'm like, I want a nicer one, like with more bedazzling and different colors. I already have them, so I bought this red and black.
Are we recording? Are we on?
We are recording.
Okay.
We are recording.
I love the mask. I want to have when we do like more Wild Thunder Improv, our upcoming thing next year, like a wrestling show, improv show. I want to have a group of improvisers that wear lucha masks and have them be just a lucha team. I'm
down to wear it.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, I have an old Rey Mysterio mask somewhere that is it's a child size. So when I put it on, it does this with my face, and everything else is like skin tight. It's pretty crazy. But I wear it. You gotta wear it.
This mask does that for me a little bit too. Right here.
Yeah.
I can't wear my glasses, so I'm blind. So I wouldn't be a very effective Pentagon Jr.
What is it about lucha that is so much cooler than regular wrestling? What do you think it is?
About lucha?
Yeah.
Masks? Well, I could see from your perspective, it's way campier.
Oh my God, yes. That's right. You know what? You solved it.
Way campier, and the audience like buys in 100% into the campiness. So
and there's monster movies starring lucha stars like El Santiago. Man, why? It's late. I'm sorry. Blue Demon. Blue Demon goes on a road trip and defeats monsters. Yeah. Sorry.
For you. I don't know if you know this. Here's a wrestler you've never heard of. I'm about to blow your mind. His name is Jack Veneno. Never heard of him, have you?
I don't think so, no.
He was like the Hulk Hogan of the Dominican Republic.
Oh, really?
Yes. And the American wrestlers would tour, so when they would go to the Dominican Republic, he was like the guy that they fought. He was like Ric Flair would come through and he'd fight Ric Flair and he'd fight the big names. And they'd pay him so he'd go over and be the hero of his people over these big name American wrestlers. So Jack Veneno, Hall of Famer. A lot of Americans don't know about him, but I wanted to give him a shout out. Cointelbro.
Send me his name. I'm gonna look him up tonight.
All right, I'm gonna send you some information on Jack Veneno for sure. I hear about him from my family from the DR all the time. He's like their Hulk Hogan, and when they talk about him, it's like, oh yeah, Jack Veneno.
That is amazing. I would love to invest in a wrestler that is like a Hulk Hogan type that doesn't use the N-word. That would be amazing. That is the problem with wrestling, is there is a lot of stuff that's very problematic that I'm very aware. Guys, I'm very aware that it's a problem. Like, yeah.
Oh, Hulk Hogan. I loved him so much as a child. That was disappointing for sure.
Hated Hulk Hogan when I was a kid. I was always a Piper fan. Always.
So give me your Mount Rushmore.
My personal Mount Rushmore?
Yes, a professional wrestler.
Well, number one with a bullet, Roddy Piper. I would say Asuka would be on there for me because, again, she is able to sell and get super over, and she doesn't speak English. In a company where it is a libertarian, crazy conservative asshole billionaire, she is still able to get over without speaking a lick of English.
Yeah, she's their most successful Japanese star, right?
Yeah, she's amazing. Her style, where anytime you throw something at her, she counters it. Like, she was untouchable for the longest time, and then they effed up her booking. But like, amazing, so great, such a great wrestler. Saw her live a couple times. So good.
I loved her in NXT because she's so aggressive and impactful with everything she does, but she's real safe still.
Oh my God. Yeah. There was, yeah. She like, they say that when she hits, it's like barely, but it looks like she's like decking you out, but it's like love taps. That is amazing. Her look, her hair, everything is so flippin' cool. She's like a version, her look is like a version of Ultimate Warrior you can get behind, because again, Ultimate Warrior, very problematic sayings about people of color. I would say number 3, Jake the Snake Roberts, just because of that whole like with the exception of Asuka, most of my wrestlers are character-based, not really fighting-based. But Jake the Snake, with his whole like whispering, and you have to like lean in to hear him, and just his whole run with Ultimate Warrior and Macho Man. Holy crap, that was a great run.
Columbus native.
Macho Man, yeah, Macho Man would be number 4. I don't need to. Okay, here's how I explain why I love Macho Man. Just YouTube Macho Man promo. Look up, just close your eyes and pick one, and you'll understand why he's my number 4. And then number 5, I think I would go with Triple H.
He came out to graduation music.
What's that?
He came out to graduation music.
He did. He came out to graduation music. He was Macho Man came out to graduation music. He was small, so he always stood on his toes, and he's very self-conscious about his weight. So that's why he always like puffed himself out like this. And then he had the voice, yeah. He always say something, yeah. Always cream of the crop, yeah. That's all I'm gonna tell you, yeah. Just his freaking voice. And he's from Columbus. And he has a Jewish mother. Like, what else do you need? Like, he's amazing. It's part of the Poffo like family line. My father lives in Dunedin, Florida, and he goes to a lot of like town events and whatever. And apparently, Leapin' Lanny Poffo is one of the town people that he is in constant contact with. He's like, have you ever heard of a wrestler named Leaping Lanny Poffo? I'm like, that's Macho Man's brother. And he's like, who's Macho Man? I'm like, oh, Dad, this is why we don't talk that much. Yeah, and then I think number 5 would be Triple H, just because of the long-term storytelling of Triple H. of him being a snotty little prep school guy that was a fancy man that wanted to be a fancy man fighter, and just like the evolution from like him to the game to Shawn Michaels' sidekick to, well, I guess Shawn Michaels' sidekick in the game. I'm sorry, sue me. All the way to like he's now running NXT. He's like the guy. I
will say this: Triple H for a very long time was my absolute least favorite wrestler.
No, he was mine too. To be perfectly honest, he was mine too. I didn't get it until like I started going back and watching his matches and watching that he was telling a story beat by beat through his entire career. That's impressive.
That's what I was going to say, though. I will say that in hindsight, his career has improved a lot in my perspective. So a lot of my dislike for him was that storyline with Booker T.
Oh God, yes. Oh my God, I forgot about that. I have to take him off the list.
Oh man, I hated that storyline so much, especially because it would have worked so well if like Booker T won at WrestleMania, because the entire thing was Triple H pretty much implying you're black, you're inferior, you aren't material for champion, you don't have what it takes to beat me, boy. And he beats him at WrestleMania in like 8 minutes. And you're like, what? So does that validate everything he just said about him?
Yeah, that was yeah. Again, there's a lot of
under the bus. You don't have to take him off your list, because I will say that now seeing what he does with NXT, seeing him develop these young people, and I think he's taken an actual interest in developing them.
Yeah,
because he had so many rumors over the years of him. He had the shovel where he would bury young talent.
And he did, yeah. He did.
But he's changed, it seems like. I think having his kids maybe changed him.
Yeah. His version of his character now is my absolute favorite version of Triple H. All the others I can do without. The version of his character now, where he is the king of his own kingdom. You know what I mean? Like of NXT, it's the gold brand. He is in charge of the gold brand. He shaved his head because he's like, listen, I am the king. I don't have to fight. But if I'm going to fight, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to kick your ass. There's nothing for you to hold on. I got nothing to prove. There's nothing for you to hold on to or any of that stuff. I'm going in there. He tapes up his hands like boxing things, and he goes in there and he destroys to make a point. I love this version of Triple H. That is why he's on my Mount Rushmore, is the long-term storytelling and the current version of him.
The other reason I'm gonna tell you that the other thing later on, and it bothered me so much, was the summer of CM Punk. CM Punk was like red hot.
Yeah.
Triple H gets inserted into the story and like beats him, and I'm like, all right, I'm not the owner of WWE. I'm not a multi-billionaire.
Yeah.
But how does it make any sense at all for you to destroy this guy that's built all of this momentum and mainstream attention and have him lose to a guy who's a part-time wrestler who doesn't really have a future career as a wrestler? Like, what can you possibly gain out of burying something that hot? And I'm like Triple H again, even when it doesn't matter at all for him. There he is again.
Like, here's the thing, CM Punk would have been my fourth about 2 years ago. He would have been like my second, to be perfectly honest. Yeah. Like, I love CM Punk, but just like stuff that he's been saying lately, and like the fact that he kind of screwed Colt Cabana out of like thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? Like, Colt Cabana doesn't have millions of dollars like he does. He has to, like, I don't want to get into it, but like, and then he went back to WWE. That was when he started doing the backstage, whatever it's called, I was like, I'm done. I'm done with CM Punk. Took him off my list. I had a bunch of like CM Punk action figures. Took them all down off the shelf. Took out the DVD. Put it in a box. I didn't throw them away because I know this is wrestling. But like, I was like, I'm done, man. Like, I'm done.
All right. Well, moving on from wrestling.
Yeah.
You've been a huge advocate of more diversity.
Yes.
And safe spaces from sexual predators. Why is that a crusade that you've chosen to take here in the Columbus comedy scene? I know that's kind of a rough segue from professional wrestling to, well, maybe not so much.
No.
This might happen there too.
Oh my God! Yeah, there's a whole like movement going on in wrestling right now that is making things safer. So hopefully, when COVID comes back, wrestling will be a safe place for everybody to perform. The reason why, there's a couple of reasons why I take this very seriously. One is my best friend in the world is Lindsay. And then a lot of my close friends, people that I consider really close, are all women. And a lot of them I worked with at a theater that was very, very problematic, very asking him to do things, cornering them, like all of the cliche stuff, and then a bunch of other stuff I don't want to get into because it's not my place. It's their story to tell. I don't want to be the guy that takes that thunder away from them and allowing them to say their piece. But that is honestly what it is like I have people that I love are affected by this, and I've worked in very toxic spaces where I have dyslexia, and the owner of this theater would constantly call me the R word because I have dyslexia and I had to read stuff in advance, and he just wanted to belittle me on stage in front of other people to cut me down and make me feel like shit so I'd still work there. And like that's where I started in comedy, was this theater in Columbus. And being there and experiencing all this and trying to learn comedy and do comedy, because that's something I've wanted to do my whole life. I want to take that element out and make a absolute safest place for somebody to experiment. Because if I had that when I was 17, 18 years old, starting this journey, that would have been night and day with me. Like, I sometimes get mad because I go to like Meetup, and everybody is so supportive at Meetup, and everybody's like so nice and sweet and respectful most of the time, respectful to each other, and I'm so jealous of that. And so that's why I lean towards like hanging out with improvisers, but then again, there are wolves in the herd, like picking off like people, and it drives me crazy, and I just want to make the safest place possible, because honestly, that's what you're supposed to have. Like, everybody deserves that, and it's bullshit that like you have to like check behind your shoulder, women or man, to see that you're not being preyed upon. That's bullshit. That is 100% bullshit. Or a person of color, or any of that is fucking nuts. Because the theater I used to work with, super racist too. So like it was like
more people of color on the production.
There were when I worked there were 2 people of color that worked there, and they played all of the people of color, regardless of gender or any of that. You're like, you're gonna play Oprah, you're gonna do this, you're gonna, and like treated like use the N-word around them constantly as like a joke. It was so toxic and so vicious and vile.
But this was a theater that was like heralded and celebrated in the city while all of this.
It still is. It still is a theater that is celebrated in the city. I hope they're changing their tune. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. I can go on. I don't know if I should say anything about. I worked for Shadowbox. I guess I should just say that. I worked for Shadowbox Live, and my experience there was very, very toxic and very.
When you started,
I started the day after I graduated high school. I was 18 years old, and that's what they do is they get you when they're really young, and they work you to death. So. I don't know how it is now. Again, this is all from my perspective. I don't want to say that it is like this now, but like when I worked there, you like got in at like 8 or 9 in the morning, and sometimes you stay till like 1 o'clock in the morning, and then you would leave. There was really no breaks or anything like that. It was like constantly, you did all of the daytime office work, then you would perform at night, then you would clean everything up. You did everything. They had their own like little workforce, and it was basically run like a cult. Like we listened to a lot of podcasts and stuff about true crimes and stuff like that, and a lot of like cult cases come up, and it's very strange listening to a podcast where they're explaining how this cult works, and everybody's like, why were you in it for so long? And they're like, everybody's like, I don't understand. Like, I'd be gone. It's like, they don't do that. Like, because Shadowbox was a cult.
They do it in parts.
Yeah, they do it in parts. They make you feel really good, then they break you down, then they make you good, then they sleep deprive you, then they make you work. Your constant focus is on them. There was a time where we had 2 days off. We had Sunday and Monday off. And you just sleep through those 2 days because you're just exhausted. There was a time when they made you wear the Shadowbox t-shirt when you went out on your days off, just in case if somebody asks you about it, you're representing Shadowbox. Kind of like like giving out paper roses and like trying to lead people into their cult. And like, so they took away your entire identity in some cases where you weren't even allowed to wear a t-shirt. That's why I wear mostly white t-shirts, because I had to wear black Shadowbox Cabaret t-shirts, that back when it was Shadowbox Cabaret t-shirts all the time. So yeah, it was a horrible experience, and I hate it, and I don't want anybody to go through that. And again, the people I love, I love everybody in this city. Well, most everybody in this city, but and I want everybody to just be safe. And I guess that's what it is. And I know I'm rambling, so cut me off at any time, Brock.
How did you, I guess, cut ties when you're in that situation? It feels like you're in a cult. You become so dependent. How did you separate yourself?
It's very hard. And there are people that leave and go back, and I was one of them. You leave because your whole foundation is like this tiny little world, and you have like this family run by a crazy narcissist with long hair who pits everybody against each other. But it's like this close-knit family, and that's all your friends and everything. That is your whole world.
It's like shared trauma.
Exactly. And then when you leave like they get you when you're young, so that way you have to rely on them for everything. Like they set you up in your house, they set you up in like an apartment, they take out all of your utilities and stuff, and they pay for your apartment, everything out of your paycheck for you, so you don't have to do it. And like all this stuff when you're a kid sounds like, oh yeah, that's fine. Then when you become an adult and you leave, you have to figure out how to get a checking account. You have to figure out how to pay for shit. You know what I mean? Like, and it's very scary, and you want to go back to where it's safe. Plus, there's like this whole culture when I worked there where everything was super negative and vile, and like the way you joked was like currency almost, where you had to like be toxic in order to like get brownie points. So when you go to a new job, you immediately get fired. I've gotten fired for making obscene jokes that I would never make today because I know better now. But like when you're in this weird toxic culture and that's how you communicate with other, what's that? It's like self-defense. Thanks, Lindsay. It's like self-defense.
On a future episode if she didn't already know.
Yeah, you're gonna be on a future episode, so stay off mine. Yeah. So like the people leave and go back, and what finally got me to cut my ties was I was so miserable there. I met G-Lo. We were best buds. He left. I met Lindsay, and then I think that's what I need. As I needed Lindsay, she left, and I was just incredibly miserable there, and I had no creativity. I had no freedom, and I was like, I'm fucking done with this. I don't care if I strike out on my own. I need to get out of here, and that's what finally got me out. So. I'm talking a lot, Brock. Please interrupt me and tell me to move along.
Do you think WWE operates in that one?
I think, okay. So we listened to the Colt Cabana podcast, and a lot of old ex-WWE, also with the Jericho podcast, a lot of ex-WWE wrestlers come on, and they, the way that they describe their tenure in WWE is eerily similar to my experience in at Shadowbox.
Yeah, was it the John Oliver episode?
If you, Lindsay, listen to the John Oliver. Thank you, Lindsay. The John Oliver episode of WWE and on the John Oliver show, and it's basically WWE.
So, and both kind of involve like the central figure that produces the shows, that has all the decision making. And they're kind of the central authority, and everything comes from that.
Yes, they were both run by men with massive egos, built on their egos and how fragile their egos are. And the people that run it now, hopefully, I prayed that it's different. But the people that run it now were his underling goonies that knew everything that was going on. And they contributed to that. Hopefully, they're different, and it's a better place. I hope to God it is. But
there's a spotlight on it that didn't exist back then. So even if they did try it, it's a lot more likely to be called out or caught.
I don't know, because again, it's you get them when you're young, and you work them to death, and there's a lot of people that I went in like before me and are still in Shadowbox. Please, Lindsay, I'm in an interview. I'm sorry, what were we? what was it? Anyways, it's bad. It's bad.
A lot of young people, and I'm saying that maybe there's more of a spotlight on it in society, but you're concerned that may not be enough because of how
when I was there was no time to consume other media, or like Facebook was just introduced when I was there. Maybe it is different, but again, they kind of rope you in, and you become like a cheery-eyed, like bright-eyed, like, hey, this is a great thing. So hopefully, I hope it's better. I really do. But anyways,
I saw Tiger King, and it instantly reminded me of kind of how you're explaining this theater ran, and it seems to be you kind of have the thing that people want. In your case, you wanted to perform. They have a theater. They are giving you exposure. with wrestlers, they want to wrestle. Vince McMahon gives them the biggest production they could possibly have. So you kind of dangle this carrot of here are your dreams. What are you going to do for me to help you? All right, so my laptop battery died, so I think that means we're coming to the end of the show. It's been great having this conversation with you. We're going to be working on lots of things. So many things. I'm so looking forward to your run for president.
Savage 2020!
Savage 2020. I'm looking forward to all of your other projects. Is there anything that you want to plug?
Vote for me this November. Don't really vote for me. It's a joke. And also we have a Doctor Show Halloween special coming out on YouTube, a two-parter, maybe 3, mostly 2, coming out this October. So look for that. We're writing everything down now. We have a lovely Doctor Show set we built. And so that's it. Check us out on YouTube. Savage Check on YouTube, on Facebook, Savage Check Industries, everywhere, just everywhere. Check us out. We're on all the social medias.
Check them out. You checked us out. If you prefer the audio format, this podcast can be heard wherever your favorite podcast can be found, or you can find it on Cointelbro.net. This has been episode 2. We'll have some more great guests coming up for you, so you stay tuned. Until next time, this is Brock Lesnar signing out. Goodbye, Mr. Savage.
See ya, Brock!
See ya. And
sir, sir, sir.